Hello and welcome to the Pixel Street Podcast, episode 90. We're getting awfully close to 100.
Oh, baby, yeah, we are.
As always, this is the podcast where we get together and talk about one of the things we love most, and that thing is video games. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and I'm joined by the man who has pre-ordered 4 Animal Crossing Nintendo Switches, John Hansen.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that'd be Connor instead of me. Isn't he the big Animal Crossing fan?
I don't know, Connor?
Yep, that's me!
It's Connor.
Did you pre-order it?
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me? The first day it went available, the wife and I rushed over to our local GameStop, which happens to be my GameStop, and pre-ordered it. Woo!
Very nice. Also, Connor's here.
Yeah, that's me. Also me. Yep. It's actually just me. It's me, but 3 people. That's the podcast. I just do everybody's voices, if you didn't know.
Welcome to Connor's new podcast, Me, Myself, and I, where we talk about Animal Crossing.
You're right.
No, he doesn't talk about Animal Crossing. He just talks about pre-ordering it.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important that you pre-order it.
He talks about how excited he is for it to come out, and then the inevitable delay podcast that happens every few months.
Don't say that. I will literally, if it gets delayed again, 2 things will happen. 1, I'm egging your apartment or your house or wherever you live. And 2, I'm going to be very upset, and I will do one whole podcast by myself that's an hour of me screaming.
that would be the episode 100 special.
Yeah. That's it.
I want to just go ahead and start this week by saying thank you to everybody who participated in our Twitter giveaway. We gave away a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the PS4. John, do you know who won that off the top of your head?
I wish you would have reminded me to look it up, so give me a sec. Fill time.
So we did a giveaway there. We're probably thinking of doing another one pretty soon here. Probably close to 100, right?
Yeah, probably. I think we got a few more in the pipeline.
We might have a couple of codes available, but the guy who won it is King Steven Youngblood on Twitter. He is at King of SCW. Apparently he's also a Chiefs fan, so Sunday was a pretty good day for him. He won Call of Duty, and his Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so congratulations, Steven.
Congrats. Thank you to everybody who followed, retweeted, shared it with their friends. We're going to be doing more of those in the near future here. So stay tuned to our Twitter by following us at Pixel Street Pod. Let's just get right into it. This week we are going to be talking about some of the biggest news, that being that Dan Houser has left Rockstar. The mystery feature reportedly revealed from the Xbox Series X. If you remember, me and Connor last week were talking about the mystery port on the back of the console. You can go look up the picture of the back of the system. Supposedly, it looks pretty legit, so I can't imagine that that's a fake picture. And the Wonderful 101 has some big stuff coming out, I guess, in terms of re-releases. But before we do that, let's go right into the new releases.
And there are none.
Yeah, I was going to say. I saw Zombie Army 4 came out, and I've been seeing some tweets with videos of it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I got early access to it to gather footage for the guy who was reviewing it for XboxEnthusiast.com. Check out his review; it's pretty good. And I had a good time playing it. It ran really good. We only had a few moments where we had some bugs, but nothing game breaking or anything. If you played Zombie Army Trilogy, it's just more of that, really. It seems like they really went the way of adding in a ton of references this time around, which was really cool and kind of interesting. There's a moment where there's just a bunch of random Easter eggs around. There's a moment where you go up to this desk that has a model train on it, and you can press a button to let it go around the room, and then you can shoot it off, and then a moment later a train comes crashing through a wall and destroys everything. So that was weird. And then there's another moment you can go up to a typewriter and start messing with it, and you turn around and there's all these floating demonic dolls that you shoot. It's really weird. But no, I really enjoyed my time with the game, and it's probably something I'll go back into for a little bit at least.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, when was The Last of Us initially supposed to release?
In February.
Wow.
It might have been like late February.
Either way, like, we would have just been sitting here talking about how excited we are for that.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, everything's being delayed.
There is one on here that's coming up, Valentine's Day. Maybe John can clear this up a little bit because I know you had a little familiarity with the game. But Bleeding Edge has a closed beta.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the game was like out, or is it?
It comes out in March.
Okay.
So it had its alpha for quite a while, where a few select Xbox people got selected to play it, and I got in on that, and it was pretty fun. I think our group of friends will enjoy it. But the closed beta, is coming up on February 14th, which I think is for people who have pre-ordered it or have pre-ordered it through Game Pass. So I think essentially anyone can play it as long as you've done one of those things. So yeah, definitely one thing I'm looking forward to, because I think that'll be our first chance to like get our whole group in there and play, and I think we'll have some
now
fun.
Because there's apparently like a dead spot in my brain where this game exists. That's the man, I don't want to use these words, but Overwatch clone from Ninja Theory. Is that right?
Yeah, except it's melee and 4v4.
Weird.
So yeah, and also Overwatch is probably the closest thing to compare it to, but it's not really like moving objectives or anything like that.
4v4 melee, would you say For Honor then?
Not as like
Slow.
Yeah, much faster than that. It's a weird in between spot of Overwatch and For Honor. Yeah, once we get in and actually get to play it, maybe we can describe it more. But
I'm just curious because obviously Ninja Theory has been really kicking ass lately with a lot of their stuff, and I'm interested to see whatever.
Many projects they're doing
I was
right
gonna
now.
say now they have like 3 projects.
Well, they've got this, obviously, Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga, that Project Mara thing, and I feel like there's something
And then
else.
also, it's not a game, it's like some kind of AI thing that they're working on. Yeah, I don't know. They have so much stuff they're doing since they were acquired by Microsoft, so really cool stuff that they're up to.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. But I mean, that's pretty. The same day you have Dreams coming out officially on PS4.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
But
Yeah. Like 6 years after it was announced.
You know, I have a code for that.
Come on,
I think I have it. I redeemed it, but I've never touched it. I haven't done anything with it. I'm not creative enough to make that stuff. Like, I want to see other people make bonkers stuff and play their things. So
That's exactly how I am with like Mario Maker and everything. Like I couldn't make anything myself, but seeing what the community makes is really awesome, and there's already been some really cool stuff that's come out for that. So
I guess there's a few things coming up here then.
yeah, the idea of creating something in Dreams sounds awesome, but I just don't. I barely have enough free time to play games,
Right.
let alone like make an entire game myself. But I guess we can move on from that. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Connor, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. If you listen to this podcast, a few weeks ago we were talking about Doom Eternal with some news surrounding it, and the fact that I never really got through or played a significant majority of Doom 2016, and that it just never really grasped me. I decided to give it a second chance, and I've been kind of popping back into it, giving it a go. This time on PC, just recently got a new graphics card, so been screwing around with that a lot. And man, that game is gorgeous. Man, I can't get over how good it looks. Just period, which is awesome. But it also plays a lot smoother than I remembered it. I don't know if I just was in a bad place playing it the first time. I have by no means made it significantly far in the game, but I am farther than I've ever been in the game, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I may have been wrong on this one, so I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Well, shut up.
You were wrong.
Everybody loves that game, and I played a few hours of it, and it just never stuck with me.
I love the soundtrack. Like, I think the soundtrack is
my god, the Mick Gordon
just
soundtrack is
fucking
amazing.
incredible. It's so good.
The gameplay is great too. Like, I like the movements and stuff. I couldn't get over the fact that like the story's kind of weak, at least from what I played.
Yeah.
It's Doom.
I
doesn't need to have a strong story.
It's the Duke Nukem thing of like, okay, you've got a big burly badmouth protagonist that's just a badass, and that's really all you need in terms of story. So I get it. But yeah, I do wish there was a little bit more in terms of that. But either way, I mean, I am enjoying it much more than I did before. I haven't played enough to really say that I've totally flipped on the subject or anything, but you know, I'm dabbling, and it's not bad.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely.
How far would you say you're in?
Probably like
how many hours?
3 chapters, maybe like 4 or 5 hours. So nothing crazy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think I played like 4 hours of it. But yeah, I don't know. I want to give it another shot, kind of like what you're doing, just especially with the new one coming out in the near future.
Yeah, it just seemed like a good opportunity to jump into it. Like you said, with Eternal just around the corner, and the amount of buzz that game is getting from the games media and all the early testers and everything, probably gonna hit that one a lot harder than I did the first one.
Yep. Moving on, John, what have you been playing?
So, a little after Christmas, I picked up Assassin's Creed Origins on the Xbox end of year sale, and I played through and beat that this week. Well, actually over the last couple of weeks, but I finally beat it. And yeah, I had a pretty good time with it. I was kind of making myself play through Origins before I went to Odyssey, because I've heard Odyssey is a lot better.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Origins. Bayek, I want to say, is one of my favorite assassins. I really loved everything about him. He was really cool, and I loved his story and everything. There was a point, though, that I was like, man, I kind of wish how the old Assassin's Creeds played. I just...
You miss it, you said?
Yeah, I kind of miss it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't played in a while, and I just kind of jumped in out of nowhere on this, but I was always a big fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but I was hitting that area that everyone was like, it coming out every year, and I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking tired of this franchise, and I'm glad they went to a more like biannual release, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. But I don't think there was really anything that stood out besides Bayek for me, really.
See, the game personally is between Odyssey and Origins, because I feel like they're this part of a new wave of Assassin's Creed games, like set after the Black Flag and all that stuff. And personally, I always felt like Origins was a better game out of the two. Like, Odyssey's good, but Origins I felt like was just a much better and more succinct story front to back. I don't know if you felt that way. Obviously, it's been a few years since I've played it.
Oh, I haven't played Odyssey yet, so I couldn't tell you.
Right
But
Yeah, I played through all of Origins, and I thought that the story was pretty great. I have not finished Odyssey, but well, to get into kind of what I've been playing a lot of Odyssey, and I enjoy the story from that a lot. I just feel like Odyssey takes a lot of what Origins did to like another level in terms of making it more of an RPG.
Yeah, I mean, with the dialogue options and like the combat system, I feel like is much smoother in Odyssey, and everything plays out much better for that. It feels like in Origins they hadn't quite figured out the formula for this new combat system. They've kind of been struggling since Black Flag to really build out the new combat instead of the auto counter system they had in the original couple of games, which I didn't mind. I thought it was fine personally. But it does feel like they hit their stride with Odyssey, and I think that's what holds Origins back from being a good experience, like a totally good experience. I really feel like it gets old after a while. Like, there are a lot of different weapons, but they don't really vary up the combat loop that much. You're kind of doing the same thing regardless of whatever you're using. And some of the weapons are kind of frustrating to use too. Like some of the pole arms don't necessarily have the best amount of accuracy. Like sometimes you can just totally whiff on an enemy, and it's super frustrating. But I'm interested. Are you gonna play Odyssey next, John?
Not like on my list of games to play next, but in Assassin's Creed, yes, I'll play it before Ragnarok comes out.
Okay, I'm just curious, especially like obviously Joel, you've kind of dabbled in Odyssey. Have you beat it, or how far are you?
No, I haven't beat it, but I think I've played like 30 hours so far.
Okay.
So I've played quite a bit. I just got to a very I don't know. I haven't even looked up like how many chapters there are in the game or anything. I know I'm done with 6 chapters.
The problem for me with that game, I played a good amount of Odyssey too, but I just felt overwhelmed. I got to a point where I was like, there's just too much shit to do, and I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, at times with Origins, I was like just going through the world, and there's a lot of like quests and everything to do, but like I never really felt the need. Like I was like, I could do that, but it kind of felt like Assassin's Creed old issue of like the 100% sinking for like finding treasure chests and everything.
Right.
It was like, yeah, there's a lot of content there, but I don't really feel like anything there that I had to do.
It's more like artificial gameplay time, or artificial inflation of gameplay, where it's a checklist, really. Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, and I'm checking right now, and I played Origins for 26 hours, and it didn't feel like that long, so I guess it did good in that aspect, that I played it for a lot longer than I thought I did. But yeah, it just, none of it really felt memorable besides Bayek, who, like I said, is probably one of my favorite assassins yet.
Yeah, with Origins, I kind of did the same thing. I played a lot of it, and then I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm just going to mainline all the quests. And that's kind of how I went through most of the game, I'd say. But yeah, I did enjoy it a lot, Origins. And I am enjoying Odyssey a lot as well, and it has me very excited for what Ragnarok... obviously those are just rumors, but it's probably true because every Assassin's Creed leaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it has me excited for what Ragnarok could be. All right, Connor, you still there?
Yeah.
You got silent. I thought we lost you.
No.
What else have you been playing?
Just thinking about some Assassin's Creed. I need to jump back in Odyssey too. I've just been putting it off forever. Yeah, no, aside from that, I'm also dabbling a little bit in Apex Season 4. I don't know if either of you guys have been partaking, but Season 4 dropped. It's the new Revenant-themed season. So Revenant's the new character. He's got some interesting abilities. They've kind of totally overhauled the new map again, doing kind of the Fortnite thing to switch things up. And they added some new guns and stuff to it. And man, I think I'm going to start playing this game a lot again, which I don't want to say because I've got a bajillion other things to play. But Apex is just so freaking good. Are either of you guys playing this?
I started playing again last night with Ethan, and I had a good time. I was actually doing pretty well, but I only played for a few games. I don't have Revenant yet. I was just watching him play him, and he seems pretty cool. I like his whole aesthetic and everything. He seems like a really cool character, and one that I do very much want to play when I get the currency to get him. But yeah, I just don't have the chance to play him.
What about you, Joel? You touched it all?
Yeah, I played yesterday. I played one match during my lunch break because I've been working remote. So I played during lunch, but I tried Revenant that one match, and that was it.
Right on.
So yeah, I definitely want to give it more of a try because I know that there's new weapons and stuff, and I've been out of the game for a long time. So
yeah, it's something I fell out of for a little while too, just due to lack of content or burnout or whatever you want to call it. But the introduction of Revenant kind of takes the entire Apex story for a much darker, twisted turn. And I kind of really like where it's going. They set up this whole big like fake reveal with Forge and everything, which was supposed to be the new character.
That was a really cool.
Oh, it's fantastic! Honestly, one of the coolest things I've seen a company do in quite some time, as far as like PR marketing goes.
It's actually probably, I wouldn't say it's as high as the Fortnite world, like being destroyed, but it's up there. That was really cool.
No, for sure. I mean, they built this whole character. They fleshed out a backstory and everything. Got him entirely like hyped up, and were like, hey, here's his announcement teaser and yada yada yada. And then they put up this clip that was supposed to be the season 4 like trailer or introduction or whatever, where there's an interview with him. And during the interview
with Darren DePaul,
literally right on the game map. And during the interview, Revenant walks up behind him and just murders him right on screen, which is super awesome, honestly, that they would go to that length, especially with building a fake character just to slaughter him on screen, but also just that they're willing to take that kind of risk and do something a little bit different was super cool. Because obviously we've been doing this whole like hero thing for a while now with Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, and all these games have a hero system now. Call of Duty famously has been doing it for way too long, though I think they're kind of out of that system now.
Yeah, they are.
But it was some sweet stuff. So, Revenant, he's got a left bumper ability that does some like AoE damage, but also silences other characters' abilities. So if they're within that radius, they can't use their abilities. Let's say you're like Pathfinder, you can't grapple away, which is pretty interesting. But then his ultimate is that he drops this death totem down, and you and your team can activate that totem. And if you do, you have about 30 seconds. You turn into this like ghost form, and you can go run off, and you have no armor, you have full health, and you can go do battle with enemies and stuff. And the catch is that when you either die or the timer runs out, if you're still alive when the timer runs out, you're just where you were. But if you die during the timer, it ports you back to the totem, and you have your armor still, because it didn't affect your armor, but your health drops down to 1. So it's kind of this like risk reward. A lot of people seem to be using it in a rush meta to kind of like get in and drop some damage in on teams that don't have a Revenant or something, and then be able to swap back to their guys with full armor, and then rush in with that and do some damage. So it's changed things up in terms of like how fights happen, which is very interesting. It's been a while since something has shook up that game in that way. They also, just some quick notes, they added a new sniper rifle, Sentinel, bolt action. It's freaking awesome. There's new sniper ammo instead of it just being like heavy ammo for the longbow and stuff, so that's kind of a different little change. And just some balance changes. L-Star is no longer a crate weapon. It's just a weapon you can find in the game, and the Havoc is now Devotion is now a crate weapon. And can only come through that. So got some interesting changes in it. I'm still going to be playing a ton of it going forward, so I'll probably be chatting about it more as I kind of get a little more into it. But really good changes overall, and for me it's kind of reinvigorated a game that I already was in love with anyway. It's worth checking out. I mean, it's free, so go play it.
Also, really quick before we move on, shout out to Apex for it was released a year ago now. Like,
that's right. Happy birthday, Apex!
For over a year.
Yeah, I'm excited to hop back into it, because I know like some of my friends, they play it pretty often. So I'll probably just hop in their party whenever they're playing, or if I see you guys playing and you don't have a third or something.
Maybe we'll stream it somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did try that terribly.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, the only other game I played is last night. I hopped back into Sea of Thieves. My buddy wanted to play, so I hopped on with him, and we were playing for like 2.5 hours, and we had all of this loot. Well, so what happened is we had to go to a fort to dig up some chests, and we get there and we're like, oh, okay, like this is a skull fort, meaning like waves of enemies come, and then once you take them out, you can, loot their vault, I guess you could say. But there was another 2 guys there doing it already, and then they're like, hey, you want to help us? So we're like, yeah, sure. And then one of the dudes we were playing with decided that he wanted to betray them and take all of the loot instead of splitting it up with them. And so I was kind of like, all right, I was kind of hesitant, but I was like, there's 3 of us, there's 2 of them, we could probably do it. So we take them out, we loot everything, we leave. We get back to the outpost to start unloading, and then they showed up. Like, they had, like, respawned, gotten back there, and followed us. And then they just took us out because I was the only one on the ship, and the other two were, like, off selling stuff. So they pretty much got everything back. So now I'm pissed off at Sea of Thieves again. And it's all because I was an asshole. It wasn't even my decision, but I went with it, and it did not pay out.
It's kind of how that game works, though, is like, you know, everybody's on a crew, but at any moment, like, things could just absolutely go sideways, and that's kind of the charm of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of also, like, the same feeling you get with, like, Battle Royales, in a way. It's because, like, you don't know where anybody is, when they're going to come. And I kind of got that same feeling last night with Sea of Thieves, how they just kind of showed up, and I just panicked. Had no idea what to do. And then they took everything. That game's frustrating. All right, John, you want to take the first one?
You cut out there for me.
Oh, I said you want to take the first news article?
Oh, okay. All right, so this is actually some pretty big news, but Rockstar's co-founder, Dan Houser, is leaving the company. This is from Cameron Faulkner of The Verge. Dan Houser, co-founder of Grand Theft Auto developer Rockstar Games, will leave the company in March. The news comes from an SEC document registered by publisher Take-Two Interactive. This move comes after an extended break taken by Houser that started in the spring of 2019. Rockstar Games was founded in 1998, and Dan Houser contributed prominently to the company's successful franchises, including Grand Theft Auto, Max Payne, Red Dead Redemption, and more. So yeah, this is huge news because, like they said, like he was like always like the co-head writer, at least for their biggest games. So like he was like the lead writer on Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, both Red Dead games, Max Payne 3. Like he had a huge impact on just Rockstar Games in general for decades now, and going forward, this could have a pretty big impact on just how those games are made and everything. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's pretty crazy. Because like you said, he's touched all of their major releases, and Rockstar sells arguably the most copies of games. You know, for like GTA 5 is always on top of the list, and it's not coming down anytime soon. It's always like up there in the top 5, top 10, depending on the month, you know, depending on what games come out. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see whatever the next release is. But also, you know, it says he's been on break since last spring. That's almost a year ago. So you have to think that they've kind of already moved on from him in this past year. So
pretty much.
Yeah, who knows? But also, to be fair, maybe they've been developing GTA 6 for a long time, and he had a lot of input in that. So it could be a while before we really see how this affects the company.
Yeah, we know, especially since how slow they are with releasing their games. They definitely take their time.
Yeah, Connor, what do you think?
Man, it's tough to say. You know, it's hard to see news like this and think that there isn't some kind of ulterior or underlying news story. You know, with big members of companies leaving. Especially what seems to be like the pinnacle for Rockstar. I mean, you know, they're coming hot off of Grand Theft Auto being the best-selling game of the decade. Red Dead Redemption 2 is just doing gangbusters. Everybody is waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, at this point, Rockstar is kind of king of the world when it comes to developers. And to have somebody this high up leave, and granted it could just be personal reasons, maybe they just want to spend more time with family, maybe he's made enough money, God knows he's probably earned it, to never have to work another day in his life, which is awesome. But also, you know, the last couple times we've seen something like this, you know, there's either been a health reason behind it or some kind of deeper issue. And I know Rockstar's been working on rebuilding their company morale after all of the issues they were having over the past couple of years, and several articles that popped up. I just hope it's nothing like that. I hope that this really is just a normal run-of-the-mill departure. But also on the flip side of it, it will be very interesting to see where this leaves Rockstar in the future. Having such a big monolith of development kind of leave the company. It's easy to think that one person doesn't have a lot of influence over you know a project that thousands of people work on, but looking at things lately, I think that's easily disproven. Hideo Kojima, huge name in the game industry. I mean, his games wouldn't be what they are without him attached to it, and I think that Dan Houser kind of really goes hand in hand with anything Rockstar's ever done up to this point. So hopefully it doesn't break that magic and they turn into another BioWare or something. But wish him the best, and hopefully it's just run of the mill stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on to the next one. I'll take this one. This comes from comicbook.com by Tyler Fisher. It says, Xbox Series X mystery feature reportedly revealed. Game install sizes have become a problem this generation, largely because of the lack of console storage. Addressing this, Xbox Series X will reportedly be adding expandable storage, which is exactly what the console's mystery port is for, according to Microsoft insider Brad Sams. That's a weird name to say, Brad Sams. As you may remember, not that long ago, our first look at the backside of the console was revealed, and on the back of the console was a mystery port that nobody could figure out what was for. However, according to people familiar with what Microsoft is planning for the console, this is simply for expandable storage and a solution to the aforementioned problem of game install sizes. So yeah, you can obviously take all this with a grain of salt because nobody's too sure yet. But that mystery port, which if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm showing on the screen, is that long rectangular one on the back. Still kind of a mystery, but supposedly they think that it's for storage, which is kind of what people initially thought for it as well.
Also, though, we should note that this is a prototype model, so it could not even be on the final product.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could be like for debugging, if anything. So a lot of options there still.
Yep. Connor, what do you think?
So it's really tough to talk about stuff like this because you really have to start diving into like the hardware and the different software specs that are on a machine. Right, and I don't want to get super techy or anything, but a lot of people have raised question to this to say, okay, well, why would they do some kind of proprietary port? And when you think proprietary, you think of miserable things like Vita memory cards, which were horribly expensive because it was a proprietary thing, and you don't want it to end up being another one of those where you have to pay a ton of money to expand something that shouldn't cost that much. But also, when you think about the tech that they're packing inside, which is the solid-state drives which they've been touting, but not just any solid-state drives, things in an M.2 form factor, which has a special kind of interface that can't be run through like a USB cable, as USB cables aren't fast enough. And when you talk about video games that, going forward, assuming that the Series X and the PlayStation 5 are built around these drives, we're going to hit a point where games or developers at least expect the game to be able to access a certain read-write speed on a hard drive, and that means that you can't just plug in any old hard drive anymore to become your storage expansion for a system. And that's why things like this are intriguing to see Microsoft at least considering the notion of expandable storage. It would probably end up some kind of proprietary means or so, especially with a port like that. There's nothing that exists currently in that form factor or with that type of interface on the market currently. It's kind of nothing more than a thought exercise right now. Obviously, without any kind of specifics or anything, there's not much we can get into. But it really does bring to the forefront the issue that we've had for a couple years, which is that games are so big now. Discs are just not a good answer for media, as well as with people going digital. and like I said, with developers counting on there being that faster memory in a system. I mean, if you were to take a game and put it on a slower drive when it's built for something faster, it just breaks it, and that's where you get like horrible load times, maybe poor physics or whatever, all kinds of things. So, that being said, I mean, is this what this is? An expandable storage port with all these reports coming out? Most likely not, to be honest with you. Again, there's really nothing that form factor, and Microsoft would have to come up with their own stuff. But you never know. I guess it could be something weird that they make, but I don't see them making the same mistake that Sony did, to be honest.
All right, cool. So I have some breaking news right here, since we were talking about Dan Houser leaving Rockstar and the impact it could have on that company. We have another big name in a company leaving. Rod Ferguson, starting in March, he just tweeted, "Starting in March, I will join Blizzard to oversee the Diablo franchise. Leaving is bittersweet as I love our Gears family, the fans, and everyone at the Coalition and Xbox. Thank you. It has been an honor and a privilege to work with you all." So that's another very big departure, because he was the head of Gears for a while now. That's a huge departure.
It's interesting because Mike Ibarra worked for Xbox as well, and he went to Blizzard.
He's like vice president or something.
Yeah,
something.
So
I don't know.
I have to imagine that might have had some role in his decision.
Well, also, he's overseeing Diablo 4. That's huge. A big move. Yeah. So awesome for him. That makes me even more excited for Diablo 4. But man, that could really impact the Gears of War franchise going forward, like big time.
Yep.
We will see, though.
That's kind of wild. That's two massive names joining Blizzard in a short amount of time. I mean, Mike Ibarra, of course, and now Rod Ferguson. They're really propping up for something big here with whatever they have planned next.
Yeah, because we know they can't do anything else right at the moment.
Fair.
That is, we probably should have talked about the Warcraft 3 issues.
We talked about it last week.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. Connor, take the next story.
Okay, so the next one is going to come from Andrew Reiner out at Game Informer and reads, "The Wonderful 101 raises over $1 million on Kickstarter, now coming to PC, Switch, and PS4.
This is crazy to me.
It's pretty wild, to be honest with you. I'm going to read a little bit into this. So, Platinum Games, The Wonderful 101, didn't have much of a pulse as a Wii U exclusive in 2013, but it's getting a second chance at life thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign. With 31 days still to go, Platinum Games has raised over $1,125,000 from over 17,000 backers. From the amount raised, The Wonderful 101 Remastered is now heading to Switch, PlayStation 4, and PC. The remastering efforts are shared between Platinum and Nighthawk Interactive, a team that has helped Platinum and other developers port projects to different systems. The remastered edition features a time attack mode, and if $1.5 million is raised, Platinum will include a new 2D side-scrolling adventure called Luca's First Mission. At $1.75 million raised, the soundtrack will be remixed with the help of a secret special guest. So yeah, basically this kind of follows up there was a few rumors that popped up saying that there was a Kickstarter going to be live from Platinum on this, and then a few days later it did. And they got into some of the reasoning behind them wanting to go the Kickstarter route. I'm going to see if I can find a statement from them here. I guess while I do that, what do you guys think about this?
So I never played Wonderful 101 on Wii U, but I always heard good things about it. And there's, I mean, as we can see, there is definitely a fan base, a very loyal fan base dedicated to it. And I know people have been asking for it for a while, so I mean, it's really cool that it's coming out. Kind of surprising to see it not come to Xbox as well, but whatever.
I mean, it is like a Japan-made game, right? So Xbox isn't very big out there.
Yeah, but there's Phil Spencer's been addressing that. Kingdom Hearts and the Yakuza games are coming now, so it's Final Fantasy as well. So they're slowly making that transition. I would think that he would be kind of trying to get in contact with them to try and get this on Xbox One as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that this game had such a big fan base. Like, I think it's awesome for the people that, you know, want it. I don't know if it's anything that's for me. I think I played the demo on my Wii U a long time ago and couldn't really get into it. But yeah, good for them for bringing it back. And yeah, I think Platinum Games, they're going to have 4 big announcements, right? This is just the first of 4.
Yeah, so that's what I just pulled here, saying that they had 4 big announcements for this year of some sort. The first one, obviously, is the Wonderful 101. The 3 others, though, it doesn't look like there is anything named for those. No dates or anything associated.
One of them is probably the Bayonetta 3.
That's fair. I would assume that. Yeah. They've been on this weird kick for the past week with this whole news cycle around Wonderful 101. I can't find the statement, but they said that part of the reason they wanted to do this through a Kickstarter was so that they didn't have to go through a publishing company, and they can start kind of kickstart, no pun intended, getting to the point where they can publish their own video games and not have to rely on a partner. Because obviously everything they've made up to this point, you know, you think of Astral Chain, Scalebound, all of that stuff has kind of been through other entities.
So they're trying to go more of a route of Bethesda.
Yeah, they will kind of want to be their own incorporated, you know,
it makes sense.
It does. It absolutely does, especially with a studio the caliber of Platinum Games. I mean, to me, it's kind of shocking that they aren't already self-publishing. It seems like they would have reached that point. Kind of a weird.
I think they just made too many games.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on. A weird anecdote to all this is they said let's see here. Platinum Games studio head Atsushi Inaba says that they would love to work on Scalebound, but the rights are 100% with Microsoft. So
yeah, I saw that on Twitter, I think.
Yeah, they've been kind of taking this opportunity to like try and pick and poach IPs and whatnot, and they're like, oh, you know, Wonderful 101, we talked to Nintendo, and Nintendo said, yeah, we don't care, do whatever you want with it. And now they're obviously doing the Kickstarter thing, and you know, the whole Bayonetta situation. It's kind of weird and, you know, unexpected, but Platinum Games seems to be a solid studio, so, you know, bring it on.
Yeah. I mean, they're highly regarded in the gaming industry, so I'm kind of with you. I'm surprised that they don't already publish their own games, but like I said, they make so many games like every year. Nier Automata, Astral Chain, Scalebound was a big one coming from them for a while. Bayonetta's been in the works for so long. Like, they just work on so much. So it's awesome to see them get rewarded like this by their fans.
They've got that other thing coming out too. I totally forgot about that. I bounced to their website, but there's a remaster 2-pack of Bayonetta 1 and Vanquish coming up here in about a month or so.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
So yeah, it seems like they're just churning on a whole ton of stuff. So stay tuned. Looks like they're gonna have a few more big announcements later this year, some way, shape, or form. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
All right.
Let's move on to the topic of the show. John, you have a game for us.
All right. So, if anyone has ever listened or watched to IGN's Game Scoop, they do a little game at the end of every show called Video Game 20 Questions. It's really simple. It's just like any other game of 20 questions. I have a game in my head, and you guys, between the two of you, have to ask 20 yes or no questions, and by the end, you need to guess what game I'm thinking of. Really simple, a lot of fun. I thought we would go a little different with the topic of the show this week because I couldn't think of anything else. So yeah, do you guys have any questions before we begin?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Is there anything off limits that I can't ask? I don't know if you have any weird rules or anything.
It just has to be a yes or no question.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So, as Damon Hatfield says, let the questioning begin.
All right, Connor. What do you want our first question to be?
I'll kick off. Is it on Xbox?
No, don't. No, that's not it. That's not the question.
That's the question.
No. The question's gonna be: is it a multi-platform game?
See, but if we ask if it's on Xbox, that narrows it down already.
Yeah, but if we ask individual consoles, that's gonna take like 5 questions at least.
Fine. Okay.
All right. So what's the first question?
Is it a multi-console game?
No.
Okay, there we go. Now we can start trying to narrow it down.
Okay. Is it a Nintendo game?
No.
Okay, so it's not Nintendo.
Okay. Is it an Xbox game?
What?
Is it an Xbox game?
Do you mean, is it like made by Xbox, or is it only playable on Xbox?
Is it only playable on Xbox?
On the console side, yes.
Okay, so that means it's on PC too.
And that I think that also means that it's not made by Xbox.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Is it? Can it be played co-op?
Yes.
Huh. Can be played co-op. It's on Xbox and probably PC.
Is it a multi-game franchise, or is it a one-off?
Yes, it is a multi-game franchise.
Okay. So it can be played co-op. It's on Xbox exclusively when it comes to console. It's.
Is it gonna be Halo? Do you think it's Halo?
I'm gonna say no. How else can we narrow it down? Okay. Did it release in the past 10 years?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Halo's not on PC yet.
All right, here, 1 second. Let me.
He's got to double check
real quick. Yeah, because I think it is, but now that I think about it again, I might be wrong. Okay, no, I was wrong. It did not release in the last 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know.
This is a tough one.
It's co-op. You can play it on Xbox. It did not release in the last 10 years. So Halo Reach is outside of 10 years. Or no, it's within 10 years.
Right, but wouldn't that be considered a Microsoft title?
Yeah, but he never confirmed that. He just kind of alluded to that.
Are you keeping track of how many questions we've asked?
Yeah, you're at 6 right now.
Okay. Should we ask?
Yeah, we might as well burn a couple off. Go for it.
All right. Is this a first-party game?
No.
No, it is not. Okay.
Not for Microsoft.
Not for Microsoft. I don't know what that means.
When it originally released, did it retail at $60?
Yes.
So probably a 360 game? Should we ask if this is an Xbox One game or an Xbox 360 game?
No, I think we should burn some in genre, maybe. An S genre. Yeah, is it a shooter game?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that narrows it down drastically. It can be played co-op. You can't play any of the Call of Duties co-op, right?
Well, I mean, you can, but also there's like zombies and stuff that you can play co-op, so that's a little tougher. Does it have an esport associated to it?
No.
Okay. That eliminates Call of Duty. That eliminates Halo.
Well, yeah. Also, Call of Duty is played on all consoles.
True. Yeah.
Not just the Xbox.
So that's 10. We have 10 more.
I'm trying to think what shooters are only on Xbox and PC.
Okay, I gotta do some searching here.
Are we allowed to search, John?
Not really.
Oh, come on. Okay, fine. Okay.
We gotta keep guessing. Xbox and PC.
Is it?
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I'm trying to think of good.
You got 10
questions
questions.
that don't waste the question. So it's a multi-game franchise. It's a shooter. It can be played co-op.
Should we ask if the other games in the franchise are playable on other consoles?
Sure.
That's our question, John.
No.
Okay, so they are not. Is it Gears of War? Is it a third-person shooter, John?
No.
Okay, it's not Gears of War.
Wait, what did you say no to? Did you say no to it being a third-person shooter or no to it being Gears of War?
It's not a third-person shooter.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a first-person shooter.
How many questions is that?
12.
Yeah.
Was it a commercial success?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, this is tough.
Is it a Far Cry game?
No.
Okay.
Why would you ask that?
Listen. Okay. We got this. What other questions can narrow it down? Retail to 60. We are so hardcore overthinking this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you are.
It's not a third-person shooter. I'm trying to think of first-person shooters that were out more than 10 years ago.
Well, so that's the problem is more than 10 years ago, I mean, on the 360 there was a endless nightmare haul of shooters on that platform if it was on there.
But were they all exclusive?
Some of them were
Hold on,
console
what's that game?
exclusive, yeah.
Is it? What about Shadowrun? Wasn't that It was a PC and Xbox thing only, right?
That's true, and it is a franchise, and it's a first person. And I think it sold at $60 when it originally released.
Yeah, I think it sold at 60 as well.
Fuck it. Is it Shadowrun?
No.
Damn, I thought we were onto something.
It's gonna be
You have 5 questions.
something really fucked up like Bulletstorm or something.
It could be Bulletstorm. No, that was on PS3.
That's not a
wasn't it?
franchise. And you're right, it wasn't
Oh yeah,
PS3.
it's not a franchise.
Let's see. Oh boy. It can't be Halo, can't be Call of Duty. It doesn't have an esport associated. It has co-op. Part of a franchise.
Should we ask if the franchise still exists? Like, meaning, like, is it current or is it dead? Should we ask that?
I feel like that doesn't narrow it down enough. Like, we only have 5 questions left, so we gotta find a way to like really narrow it down.
Oh man. I feel like I want to ask if it was more popular on console or PC. I don't think that's gonna really help us. What could this be?
I'm mad because it's probably so easy.
First-person shooter. Wait. No, never mind.
It didn't release in the last 10 years.
So it could be an original Xbox game.
Yeah, but the way he answered it sounds like it was right on the cusp.
Yeah,
of being 10 years ago. So it must have released like 2009, 2010, maybe right around there. Maybe 08.
First-person shooters. Let's just start listing them. So you got Call of Duty, no. Battlefield, no. Battlefront, no.
It can't be Gears of War. It can't be Halo. Both of those have esports associated.
Yep. What else? What other first-person shooters? Why am I drawing such a blank?
I feel like it could be a Battlefield game.
No, I don't think there's any exclusive Battlefield games.
You're right. I forgot. It's exclusive. Oh boy.
Wait, there might be one exclusive Battlefield game. It's that cartoony one, but I don't know if that was on PC.
I have no idea what you're referring to, so that's all you.
That's all you. It was like Battlefield 1949 or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna need another question here soon.
What, are we on a timer?
You're just taking a really long time to ask questions.
Does it have zombies?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That narrows it down. Oh, no. Left 4 Dead. It's Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
It was exclusive, wasn't it?
Hang on. I can't remember. I think you're right.
Co-op, no esport.
Yep. It would fit the bill. First party, but not through Microsoft. I mean Steam. It would be first party on their client. So that makes sense.
All right, John. Was the game Left 4 Dead?
I'll give it to you. It was Left 4 Dead 2, released on November 17th, 2009.
Yes!
So that's where I was like, oh, well, yeah, I think it's been within 10 years, but I was just wrong. Yep, Left 4 Dead 2, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm really glad you didn't ask is it a dead franchise? because there's rumors, but also Valve recently came out and said they haven't worked on anything Left 4 Dead in years, so kinda. Right I was like, yeah, that really would have hurt me. Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, it really did. We wouldn't have gotten it without that. But yeah, let's play some Left 4 Dead soon.
Oh yes.
I love Left 4 Dead 2.
We need a remaster of that game, like a proper 4K remaster.
Just anything Left 4 Dead. Give it. I want it. I love that game.
And with that, we come to an end of episode 90 of the Pixel Street Podcast. As always, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street Pod. We just did a giveaway of Call of Duty. We plan on doing more giveaways. Yeah, you could tweet at us some topics for the show, or we could just keep playing 20 questions because that was kind of fun. Maybe we'll go around and next time I'll pick a game and have the other two guys try and guess it. My name is Joel Campos.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or mixer.com/Campo63. John, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I am at Revix Shadows. I've been putting up a bunch of articles lately. Just put up an article on top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards out there. they get pretty expensive. You can also hit me up on YouTube. Just search Revex Shadows. Been streaming a little bit more with the guys, so look forward to that.
And Connor, what about you?
You can find me hoarding Animal Crossing Switches on Twitter at The Real Birch. That's Birch like the tree without the I, BRCH. I'm also on Mixer, BRCH as well. Birch, I know John and I try to stream from time to time. We'll probably try to kick up an Apex stream here pretty soon, especially with the new season being live. So come hang out.
Do it.
Maybe we can actually get some wins this time. That would be really exciting.
A win.
Maybe we can last for longer than 2 minutes.
You're right. Don't tell my wife. All right.
Man, up on my screen right now, I have Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay, and it makes me miss it.
Oh,
It's
that's
so
such
cool.
a good game.
But yeah, we will be right back here next Friday, at 8 a.m. Central for episode 91. See you then.
See ya.
Bye.